The following podcast is run by a couple of former wheel turners and one pit guy. It's meant for entertainment, not so much information, but sometimes there's some good information. The opinions expressed are just, these are the morons on the show. Not necessarily right, not necessarily wrong, not the views of any of the sponsors or anything like that. So, these guys, they're going to be talking, they might swear here and there, so if that offends you, either grow up or get a little permission from mom and dad.
All right, race fans, Ryan Aho here with the one and only Bert Lehman and Coach Kraus back with us again for another episode of the One to Go Show. Boys, bringing you episode number 229 star. So probably something's going to happen. Probably not going to finish this one, just the way the 29 deal works. So we're probably going to get cut out, technical difficulties. Some shit's going to happen for sure. Pretty confident of that. But before we get into all that, Impact Health Sharing brings this episode. If you're self-employed, if you own a business, you have multiple employees, if you're a farmer, trucker, if you maybe are employed by somebody and they don't offer healthcare, if you're looking for a great alternative to the rising cost of health insurance and you're looking for something where you can go to any doctor, you can join, cancel anytime you want, hit me up. I got a great product called Impact Health Sharing. Been able to save people literally thousands of dollars, and the deductibles are super low. It's been a great product for many, many people. 218-969-1380. Shoot me a text, shoot me a call, hit me up on Facebook. I can get you a quick quote and get you the information you need to see if we can help you save some money on health insurance. So 29 star. Let's start there. We're episode 229 star here, Bert. And it's kind of becoming, when I see bold predictions on whether or not if Kraus is going to win, okay? Not if he's going to win, if he's going to finish. Houston, we have a problem. Coach, you brought the turbine out. Looked like you had the road grader set up in the heat. Kind of battled for fourth there with old William Lund. Kind of looked pretty sporty, just the shitbox didn't turn. What happened in the feature? Another DNF for the 29 star? What's going on there, guy?
Well, you remember when you drove that car at the Race of Champions, and then all of a sudden the next year the Race of Champions got banned because Ryan Aho was in the Race of Champions? Do you remember that? Well, I like bringing that up because we blame Bert, so we blame the Race of Champions doesn't happen anymore. 100% the Ryan Aho rule. I mean, I'm dead serious, Bert. The Race of Champions don't exist anymore because of Ryan Aho. I put him in my car. It was $200, Bert. $200 to start the Race of Champions. Okay, and half the guys don't show up, right, Ryan?
Correct.
So what do we do, Bert? I got two cars there. I'm already locked into it. We throw Ryan in my other car because he's the 1943 Race of Champions past champion. So he gets to race in the Race of Champions. I get a check for $225. And one year you were battling with us, Ryan. It was rubbered up. Remember that? It was me, you, Burdick, Sabraski, and Moss. We were all in the back battling. And so, yeah. But I had a bent lower ball joint in the heat. I had steering issues in the heat. That's why I wasn't turning. And then we're not going to talk some pretty catastrophic failure in the feature. So I busted a valve and wrecked some stuff. So hopefully my dad's out fixing that. So, but I know that it was obviously the track was what it was and had some character. And it was actually, I was another lap or two. I was going to pass Sauer. He won last week. So, but it was tough sledding. So we had a tough night, but hopefully we'll get her back together and get back out there.
Yeah, I saw the track. The heat race looked pretty good. I mean, cars were moving all over. I didn't watch a feature. I missed it, and I saw you DNF. I'm like, well, shit, I'm not even going to watch then, whatever. So, yeah, hopefully you can get her back together, get out there and start knocking down some finishes, and then more importantly, some wins for the 29 star. So, Bert, did you go racing this weekend?
Well, I went to Shawano Speedway, but they got rained out after the first heat race was run. I mean, the forecast was for rain. And I mean, these days, if there's it seems like if there's a 10% chance of rain, a track is going to cancel in the afternoon. But I mean, they were calling for rain in the evening, and I mean, it rained. I mean, they had to cancel the show. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, it didn't rain much at all throughout the night. It was just a steady, very slow rain for like an hour or so, and um, it's just one of those deals. So 2 weeks in a row, it got rained out.
I got to be honest. My biggest thing I don't miss about racing is the weather, right? Like I can sit wherever I'm at as a fan. I can literally be anywhere I'm at and I can be like, well, that one rained out. I'll just jump on and watch something else, right? So I can do that. But my goodness, I mean, Sycamore Speedway, where Dave Dulciak races, they got one night in so far this year. We're at the end of June. This is Illinois. They got one night in. And I was going to go down there and kind of look like it was maybe going to rain, maybe not. And it ended up canceling. They ended up not getting the show, and they had a pretty good turnout as well. But the weather is just something you kind of plan your day and you're like, well, do I go do this? Do I not? Do I drive down there an hour? What do I do? And then you just don't know. So, I mean, if they're going to cancel early so we can get on with the rest of our lives. But I did not make it to the races, watched a bunch online, but did not make it. So it is what it is. But let's go to some stuff that did happen this past weekend, and let's talk about some good stuff, some exciting stuff, some fun stuff that happened. And let's go to our top moments and stories of the week, brought to you by our friends over at Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating in Ashland, Wisconsin, home of the Galloper chassis. So Chris Bredding, owner of that company, that guy does so much for racing. Sponsors a lot of cars, sponsors the Fastlane Superstock series, sponsors tracks. He services a lot of tracks. He's a parts guy at a ton of tracks. They have custom powder coating, sandblasting, fabricating. I mean, you name it, they do it. And if you need parts, if you need anything racing wise, get a hold of them guys. Super good guy. Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating up in Ashland, Wisconsin. So, guys, let's start with kind of one of them heartwarming ones, right? Number 5, Devil's Playground, Devil's Lake, North Dakota, Saturday night. This kid here, top 3 in the national standings last year in the Wissota Street Stock. Dad is a hell of a race car driver, still races. His mom raced as well, but Tucker Peterson getting his first win in the Wissota late model division, an emotional one. He lost his mom here, I don't know, a month or so, a couple months back, and they said he was just super emotional. First win that he had, because he's focusing late model this year. He's not in the street, so it's the first win he's had since losing his mom. So that was super emotional. Dad was there, of course, super excited, and just a great story. His mom ran a super stock as well back in the day. I raced a couple times against her out in Grand Forks, but congratulations, Tucker Peterson. I tell you, one thing I've always said, if you can win a bunch of races in one class, once you kind of figure out the speed and what's going on, you're going to win in anything. This kid's got a good future ahead of him, and congratulations. Looking forward to seeing many more wins for Tucker Peterson. I don't know. I know they're having some streaming stuff going on out in Devil's Lake. I didn't get to see this one. Did you? I don't think it was streamed. I know they're talking about starting their own deal because they kind of want to just do their own thing. But man, I hopefully that one is streamed because it'd be good for them to be able to kind of reminisce back on that first win. So great job by Tucker Peterson. Number 4. This one here is going to be fun. This one's a hot topic here, boys. Quality over quantity. What I mean by that is quality of entertainment for the race fans versus quantity of cars. So this seems like forever ago, but it's about a week ago. 18 cars showed up at Kokomo for the XR Super Series event. You looked at it, it's like, hey, there's some pretty darn good race cars there, but only 18, right? Brutal. But holy shit, was that a complete nut house despite only having 18 cars. So guys, lot to unravel here. Devin Moran, of course, won. Ryan Gustin second. Bobby Pierce third. Turbo fourth. Jason Fager fifth. Lots happened here. What stuck out to you guys at Kokomo at the XR Super Series event?
Well, I mean, first of all, the whole Bobby Pierce incident. We're going to talk about this later in the show, so I don't know if you want to talk about that now.
I slid that up. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So
Okay.
since you brought up Bobby Pierce, we'll talk about that right now. So Brad sent in a question. Am I the only person, he says, that really believes that Barry Braun flat out paid Bobby Pierce to start last in this race, and he paid him also to take part in this soap opera social media bullshit that's going on? This deal's nothing more than a hoax. Do you guys agree or not?
I'm going to disagree just because I hope that's not true. I mean, if that's true, then we're getting into WWE type stuff with wrestling, and I don't want to see that infiltrate racing.
Well, Kraus, I got a lot of thoughts on this one, but Kraus, your thoughts? Is this deal legit, right? So what happened, in case you didn't see it, for fans that didn't see it, Bobby Pierce, I think he was scheduled to start third, fourth row, somewhere in that neighborhood, late to staging. Okay, late. Dude, there's like 30 cars, 35 cars total at the event, 18 in the feature. They give him the late to staging deal, made him start dead last, which at the time was 18th. He had to start 18th. He goes on to get third, has a comment in Victory Lane, basically said, I think this is a bunch of bullshit, but Barry got what he wanted and he gave him the thumbs up, and a lot of memes kind of posted based off of that little smirk that he had there. And then kind of some banter back and forth on social media about this. All right, Kraus. This real or is this a hoax?
I'm gonna have to go with the hoax, man. Listen, I know little white Stephen A. That's what we call Ryan. We've been doing our research, Bert, and I tell you what, some pit people and there's been some drivers saying he's been paying Bobby Pierce to do some of these things, and maybe that's why 18 cars only showed up, Bert. I mean, why would they for that amount of money? Everybody loves Kokomo. Everybody loves racing. They say, "Oh, I love coming here. I love coming here." And 18 cars show up. Then you got this whole social media. But listen, the more and more I see Barry Braun and all his stuff he posts, 100% Vince McMahon. He 100% is that guy, and I could completely see him doing stuff like this with his shows and getting people to buy a subscription and getting people to come to his races. Listen, you got a hard time putting fans in the stands at racetracks right now. Maybe we got to do a little something, get a little creative, and draw up some of your own hoaxes and some of your own drama. And nobody's fighting these days, or any pit fights, none of that stuff anymore. We were just talking about that at Viking Speedway, that. I mean, Don Shaw and Jeff Wilding used to beat the tar out of each other in the tech shed every single night, but that's what people love. So I'm going to put this out as a hoax, and there's something going on here. This is real, and Barry is definitely trying to follow in Vince McMahon's footsteps.
Yeah, I got to agree. Coach, I got to agree totally, because Bert, I hate to disappoint you, man. I am so sorry. I know that you're disappointed, but let's unravel this, right? So, okay, is it believable that he put him to the back on late to staging? Absolutely. That is believable. That's happened in series before. We've seen that. That is a thing. I don't know if he did this time or not, but literally, Barry Braun is unapologetically himself. He has no fucks given. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He does. He toots to his own horn. He does what he wants to do. Okay. But there is not a universe in which we live in where Barry Braun or any other promoter, right, is going to go and literally just completely mock the number one late model driver, right? Arguable between him and RTJ, but Pierce is definitely in the conversation. You're not going to mock one of the top stars in the country 2, 3, 4 days in a row. You're not going to do that, right? I mean, I don't believe it. But here's what really sold me on this being a hoax, Bert. So a couple days later, like Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in that neighborhood, he posted a little video of blowing an air horn. And they said, this is, getting Bobby Pierce to staging. And then Angie Pierce jumps on, and there was like a little plastic blowhorn deal. And she's like, yeah, but this is what the XR series brought. And then she said, then Barry said something on the order of, stay out of this, mama, or, something along those lines. Bert, Barry might have big balls, but Barry don't have balls big enough to talk shit like that to Angie Pierce. Okay, that's not happening. She will whoop his ass. Okay, that is not happening. I don't buy that for a minute. And then she's like, "Well, hey, I just wanted to have a little fun too." When they started going a little further, it's like, no, this ain't real. And if you think about it, organic likes, shares, and comments on Facebook trips the algorithm so more people see your stuff, right? Well, the XR series is coming up. There's a 3-day swing coming up in Minnesota. Well, what better way to get people seeing all the XR posts than to create some drama? And Bobby Pierce is 26th in points, right? He's not racing for the points. He won it last year, nothing to lose. He had nothing to lose. So I don't know. It makes sense. I'm with you, Bert. I didn't want that to be true. I don't want that to be true. I don't want them to start doing this kind of nonsense and fabricating stuff and all that. But the number one form of sports entertainment in the entire world is WWE. It's not close. It's all over the world. And maybe he's taken a couple marketing techniques from them to try to grow things, and if it works, hey, more power to him. So fans, you got our thoughts. Bert doesn't want it to be true. Whether I don't know what he thinks, but me and Kraus, we think it is true. Punch the buttons. Let us know. What do you think? Right? Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Was this a bunch of bullshit? Was this a hoax? Or was there a little spiff there in all reality with Pierce and Barry? I don't know. All right. So what else happened there? Little Hudson O'Neal. He got the DQ. What happened there, guys?
I'm not sure. What did he get DQ'd for? I can't remember.
He drove over Moran after the race.
Oh, is that what he got DQ'd? Oh, after the race? I didn't see that. Okay.
Was that in the pits?
Yeah.
In the pits, right?
In the pits or go. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
What I heard, he was a complete idiot in the pits, speeding through the pits, and that's that. I don't. Like I said, any promoter, anybody sees that, you're not going to put up with that. That's an automatic DQ.
Yeah, and Moran was good, but I'm here to tell you, despite him starting 18th, Bobby Pierce was all over Moran and Gustin at the end of that deal. He had the best car. If that deal goes 5 more laps, or if he just one little opening, he was going to take the lead and be gone by a straightaway. He was so much faster, it wasn't even close.
He tried to go through an opening that was only a half a car width late in the race, and he definitely made it fun those last few laps to watch, because he was trying to put the car where there wasn't enough room to put the car.
Yeah, absolutely. But he thought better of it. He did hit the brakes. He did not fill the gap and rip the front end off. But a couple years ago, he definitely would have, right? That would have been Bobby Pierce piercing somebody is what that would have been. So Bert, let's head up to your neck of the woods. Number 3. Little modified, IMCA modified. They had some big shows up north, up in I guess it'd be eastern Wisconsin this past weekend. What's the number 3 moment of the week?
Yeah, Benji Lacrosse. Over the course of last week, he won over $14,000 between the IMCA modified and the stock car, because he won the 10,000. The second night of the Clash at the Creek, so that was $10,000 to win. I believe he finished second the night before. I don't know what second paid, but it had to been, a few $1,000s. He went to Beaver Dam over the weekend, and then he won a $3,000 to win a mod show on Saturday night. He also won the stock car feature on Friday night, and that paid $1,000 to win at Beaver Dam. So yeah, he had a pretty good payday over the week, and he also had an incident that I heard about where we had this question several weeks ago or a couple of months ago. I think somebody asked, "Have you ever seen another driver sabotage another driver's car?" And apparently, I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Just based on what I read on Facebook from some trusted people that I know. I mean, there was contact between Benji and another driver in the IMCA stock car feature on Saturday night, caused the flat tire on the other driver's car, and eventually Benji pulled off on the next caution with a flat tire. But then supposedly after that race, the driver that made contact with Benji, I don't know if it was him or members from his pit crew, were apparently underneath his modified car. And Benji's brother saw it, from what I understand, and told him to get out of there, basically.
So all of a sudden, Kraus here, Viking Speedway, back when you finished races and you finished in the front, if you had a little altercation with somebody and they're crawling underneath the 29 star, what's going to happen?
Well, someone's going to end up in jail and someone's going to end up in the hospital. And I can guarantee you, Bert, I'm not going to end up in the hospital.
The old hockey player going to come out. Good old Carl Racky is going to come out of Coach Kraus and pound some knots on somebody's head. That is, I tell you what, that's a slippery slope. I mean, people don't really like people even looking underneath the car, but when you're crawling underneath it, especially if you're messing with it, tell you what, that's kind of uncharted territory at a dirt track. That's something that we don't typically see too much of. And really you don't. Over all the years, you don't hear too much of that.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, you think about it, I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for people to do things to other drivers' cars, because drivers, pit crew members, they'll walk away from their pit area. They'll go watch some races, see how the track is changing. And, there's not always somebody by the car. Drivers really trust each other, and, pit crew guys trust each other not to mess around with their car, when in the pits. And the thing is, I sent the video to both of you, and I mean, there's no malice. I mean, it was a racing deal.
Yeah, and feelings get hurt. You gotta remember though, Bert, Benji Lacrosse is the man over there, right? I mean, he just got done having a big weekend, and there's a little jealousy that goes on, right?
Well,
so then when there's contact, it's compounded.
Well, and we've talked about this on the show too. It's Benji's one of the top mod drivers around, and he's racing a stock car. Some people don't like when drivers from what you consider upper divisions race in the so-called lower divisions, and they get jealous.
Well, I always thought the IMCA stock cars, that is the upper division. Remember, they don't run crates. The IMCA mods are the crate cars. That's the lower division. You're confused. That's okay. We'll educate you.
That's why I said supposedly.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that definitely hurts some feelings. But Benji Lacrosse with a big weekend over there in Wisconsin. Great job to him. All right, guys. Number 2, red hot turbo Tyler Erb. 3 for 3 to start the Hell Tour this past weekend, winning. Oh, where all did he win it? He won at Tri-State or whatever. Tri-State. He won at Fairbury. Where did he won the first night? Peoria. He won at Peoria as well. So Peoria, Tri-City, and Fairbury. Of course, Kankakee and Sycamore both rained out. The question I have to you, because he won 3, they announced first guy to ever do it, and then they came back and they said, I think Moyer won 6 in a row to start, like quite a few years ago, back in like the mid 90s or something. Will Tyler Erb stay on the Hell Tour, and should he stay on the Hell Tour for the 2024 season?
Well, in my opinion, he should stay on it. I mean, he's finding success on it. He wasn't finding success on a Lucas Tour. So ride this hot streak as long as you can and just keep going with it.
So this week, Coach, they go Tuesday to Davenport, Wednesday, Adams County in Quincy, Illinois, Thursday, Spoon River, Friday, Brownstown Bull Ring, Saturday, I-55, and Sunday at Lincoln. 6 nights of racing. Now you got World of Outlaws going on. You got Lucas going on at Lernerville. What do you think? Should he stay on this deal? Should he ride it out for 2024 and get some confidence built up and get some wins?
Boy, that's a really, really good question. And a super tough decision, I think. That's remember he grew up in those areas, so he knows a lot of them tracks. He ran Illinois a lot. He knows those tracks, and he's raced there, so he knows all that stuff. You know, he did sign. And you remember, he signed on late with Lucas Oil. If you guys remember that, he signed on, but he came on late. Now, there's travel money involved with that. There's discount on tires involved with that. There's big money involved with the Lucas Oil points, and he's sitting. I think I just looked. I mean, he's sitting 15th in points. That's part of the money. I think they're paying the top 15 now too. But now he's mopping up on the Hell Tour, you know. So, and I know they have some money. They have weekly, you know, $10,000-$15,000 bonus, whatever's per week too. That's a super tough decision, guys. And I mean, you know, I guess it all kind of comes down to with, you know, I'm sure he's still part car owner in that too, with his family. I'm sure they're still involved a little bit financially, and that's a tough question. You know, he's a different cat. But I think I might have to go with Bert with this one. I'm going to go with he's going to stick on the Hell Tour. That's just my personal opinion.
God dang, I hope you're right. You know, it sounds like there's a few guys. It sounds like it's going to be pretty legit here this week. And he also made the comment when he kind of announced, like, I think I might drop off the Lucas Tour. He hasn't missed a race yet, I don't think. But he also said he likes racing tracks that he enjoys racing at. Well, Lernerville's a big, kind of wide, spread out kind of momentum deal. I'm not saying he can't win there, but that's not his cup of tea. He's a bull ring guy, right? And you look at these tracks that are racing this week and all the Hell Tour stuff, that's bull rings. That is his type of racetrack, and I think it'll bring some joy back, and it'll bring some relevancy back. I mean, it would be super fun for us to see. Did you guys get a chance to watch any of the Hell Tour races this week in Peoria, Tri-City, or Fairbury?
I saw Fairbury, and then the tail end of the second one they raced, and I didn't see the first one.
Yeah, Tri-City wasn't all that great. Peoria was okay, but Fairbury, I mean, through the heart of that race, it was pretty good. I mean, they got to the middle, they got into lap traffic. There's a four-way battle for the lead between Turbo, Babb, Fager, Unziker, Dennis Herb Jr. I think Unziker got into that late. So that leads me to a question. Okay, they get into lap traffic and they are literally dicing, slicing. It's getting freaking exciting. Yellow comes out, right? Yellow comes out. They all get spread back out. The race just wasn't that good from that point forward. So that leads me to, you know, think about some of these Lucas races where they're starting 30 cars. They got 7 provisionals, right? You know, would you rather have, as a fan, more cars battling through lap traffic or a 24-car field and less lap traffic to deal with? From a fan's perspective, entertainment value, would you rather have more or less lap traffic to deal with?
I mean, from a fan's perspective, it's more fun to watch drivers work their way through traffic, unless it's your favorite driver leading the race. Then you don't want any traffic. But you know, as a fan, it's more fun watching the leaders slice and dice through traffic and trying to pick you know, what's the right lane, what isn't the right lane, and then seeing them not pick the right lane and the car behind them. Another thing with the Hell Tour races, they're shorter than the Lucas and World of Outlaw races, so the drivers have to get up on the wheel. There is no riding around. You have to get up on the wheel and you have to go from the get-go.
Well, that's something me and Kraus have talked about at length, right? Is a lot of these races are just, quite honestly, way too many laps. And the Hell Tour, less laps. So it's definitely way better, way more exciting. I think you're right. So fans, let us know below. Do you like the lap traffic? Do you think more cars is better in this situation? Let us know what you think. We'd be interested. Number 1 super stock guy. Number 1, Coach Kraus. What do we got for number 1 this week?
Yeah, getting to well, he's screwing up my bold predictions is what he's doing, Mr. Spacek. So Terrence Spacek on a tear right now. Of course, he won. You know, I wouldn't call it a slow start to start the series. You know, Red Cedars obviously had some pretty good cars there. You know, I know he got 5th there, and then Ashland, he ended up getting 7th. But then all of a sudden, boom, you pull one off in Proctor. Then you win in Grand Rapids, which is always tough, and then you pull another one off at Gondik Law Speedway. which is tough. And when you got the 7A and the rest of the guys in the world racing there too, super tough deal. So congrats to Terrence Basic. We've gotten 3 in a row here on the Superstock Tour. And, we always talk about track position, Ryan and Bert. His last 3 wins, I know he started first row twice. He did start 4th the other night, but you got to qualify, man. You got to have a good heat race, and you got to get in that redraw, especially with, Superstock Series. They're getting anywhere from 30 to 60 cars. So you got to put yourself in position to do that. And then hey, you got to finish races. Since I don't know how to finish one, obviously Terrence Basic knows how to finish a race. So, he's doing well. So hats off to him. I mean, he's running against Kurt Myers, and Tim Johnson was there all weekend. 7A was there all weekend, and Dexton Cook, and all the big thunders there. So congrats to Taryn for putting some wins together.
Yeah, he kind of stretched it out. The only person that's tied with him on wins right now is Mother Nature, because Mother Nature has taken 3 of those, 1 not getting rescheduled. 2 of those races are getting rescheduled, Rice Lake and Granite City. Not sure on the details of that. We'll have to kind of stay tuned on Facebook. But yeah, Terrence Spacek, he had to fend off the 7A in Rapids. Sabraski put a pretty good effort, worked him, and then Terrence just drove away. And they had a heck of a battle there with old Kurt Myers in Superior at Gondik Law Speedway. So Terrence Spacek red hot right now in that 22T. So guys, let's jump into a little fan feedback here. Got some fan questions, comments. If you ever have any questions, comments, shoot us, either any of us 3. Shoot us a text, a message, whatever you want to do, or shoot the show a message, however you want to get it to us. But if you have some questions, if you have some feedback, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. This brought to you by Hard Charger Performance Specialties. That's Nick Hoff out in Sydney, Montana. And Nick's been building engines for over 20 years, street stocks to late models, everything in between. I've had success. Bravo has had success with his engines, and many, many more. He does a lot more than just engines, though. He'll do gears and you name it. He has a dyno out there. He's a certified engine repairer for the crates, for the Wasota crates out in Montana. So get a hold of Nick at 406-478-4437 and see what he can do for you. See if he can help you get faster here to close out the season or moving into 2025. Speaking of that, Bo Naves, Gallatin Speedway out in Belgrade, Montana, they actually got rolling here. 20 late models, kind of a little resurgence of Wasota late models out in Montana. 20 of them. Bo Naves, kind of a dominating win. Hard Charger Performance Specialties engine underneath the hood of that rocket right there. So congratulations to him. So this one here came from Joe. Okay, and this leads into kind of probably the biggest event of the weekend in our area, the Masters. He said, guys, if you had to kind of break down, say the top 10 storylines of the Masters at Cedar Lake Speedway from this past weekend, what are some things that you'd put on the list? Maybe not necessarily in order. We don't need to get that far into the weeds. But what are some storylines that stuck out to you from the Masters at Cedar Lake this past weekend? So who wants to go first? Bert, why don't you go ahead and go first? What stuck out to you at Cedar Lake this weekend?
I'll list one here and then I'll let you guys go. I would say Sammy Mars winning the feature on the first night and then not qualifying for the feature the next night.
Yeah, and Ryan Gerke, right? He got second the first night in the USMTS mod. He didn't make the feature the second night either. So 2 guys on the podium, but boy, talk about a range of emotions there. Kraus, you're a race car driver, right? So you take Sammy Mars, first ever Masters win. He's been going there his whole life, wins the Masters on night 1, and then barely misses the show on night number 2. How far up are you? And then what does it feel like when that happens?
Yeah, it's especially kind of your hometown track. Driving the it's the yellow 28 now, but it used to be the white and blue. So I think it just goes to show the competition. And then late model, they had 55 late models. That was a Masters record on Friday night. I don't know if you heard Chris Steppen say that, but it's just the quality of cars. There's 55 late models. There's really, really good cars there. So I just think it was the quality of the cars, but super tough deal. You get, and one thing I'd like to see them change that late model deal. They got to go to passing points in those heats. I just like the straight up stuff at those shows don't work. I mean, the USMTS works good at the passing points. I think them late model guys need it too.
It is passing points.
In the late models?
Mhm.
No.
About 99.999% positive.
Are you sure? I didn't think it was. I thought it was straight up.
No, I've been wrong before, but I'm
maybe
about 99% positive that that it was passing points for all the classes at the Masters.
I didn't know. I didn't think it wasn't late model, but maybe you're right. But you know, it's a tough deal. It's just a level of competition. We always talk about parity, and definitely parity. I'd throw in the top 10 would be the WISSOTA late model domination on Thursday night. Big topic of discussion was guys weren't showing up. They can't compete. You can't do this. Well, found out, I think 9 out of the top 10. Sounds like G.O.A.T was the only one with an open motor in the top 10. I know Andlink got 11th, but WISSOTA dominance on Thursday night.
Panitsky might have had an open motor in there, but I'm not positive. I've kind of heard both ways. I'm not positive. Let's be honest though, right? Okay, Sam Mars, hell of a job Thursday night. Great seeing that third generation out there, right? Great seeing him get it done. Jake Tim was coming, and he rolled the right front off. Jake Tim, I think, would have given him all he could handle. I think that he had a legit shot to win on night number 1. So, but I know that Kevin Eater, right? Let's just face it. Kevin Eater put a post out there and he won. What did he win at the USA Nationals last year? Did he win at the Masters? He won at Cedar, regardless, whatever it was. And he basically said, I'm not going out of principle. He thinks that the restrictor's too big on the open engines. And I don't think they have to put weight in front of the mid plate. So he's like, they're at a big advantage. If the track's sticky, he's probably right. And I think their restrictor is different than what they do at the Dirt Kings. I think the Dirt Kings and Shawano are a little tighter. I think they open that up a little bit at Cedar. I don't know why. It sounds like there was a couple drivers, maybe car owners that had a little something to do with that. I don't know if it's good, bad, or the other, but a lot of people agreed with Kevin and they're like, look, he's not wrong, right? It is an advantage, but Cedar Lake's not usually hammered down unless it rains. Usually Cedar Lake's got a little bit of food, but it's also got a lot of slick to it. It's a little bit gritty. And I tell you, the WISSOTA cars definitely represented well. It didn't really show that it was a big deterrent there for the open cars. And I know he caught some grief after that, and it is what it is. But Bert, your thoughts on the whole open motor versus WISSOTA motor? Do you think Eater maybe made a mistake in not going? Do you think he should have probably went to that deal?
Well, I mean, I don't have the money invested in cars that drivers do. So, it's up to the drivers to race where they want to race. From a fan's perspective, you want to see all the drivers there. So in that regard, it would have been nice to see him there. But, he has the right to choose where he wants to race and that sort of thing. And yeah, I just wish there was a way. Well, I guess the way the results shook out, there wasn't that big of a difference with the motors, but, it just, we kind of have the same issue in Eastern Wisconsin where we have open motors that can race at Shawano Speedway, but they have to run a restrictor plate. And I believe they have to run 50 pounds of weight on the mid plate. But I think Dirt Kings, I don't think you have to run the weight. I think Shawano's stricter than what Dirt Kings is. And we have a late model driver in Eastern Wisconsin who doesn't want to race Shawano because he feels he's at a disadvantage with the restrictor plate and the extra weight that he has to put on. So, I don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah, either way, regardless of how it turned out, right? Everybody's got their own opinion on this, but at the end of the day, it ended up being some pretty darn good racing over there. Night number 1 in the late models, Sammy Mars got her done. Kevin Burdick with a great run in second. Cole Searing +9 to third. Nick Paninsky got fourth. AJ Demel +17 up into the top 5. In the mods, Jake Tim got it done. Ryan Gerke second, TP third, Terry Phillips. Joe Chisholm, guys, wins his heat. Light at the scales on night number 1. Had to start in the back of the B. Transfers through the B. Late he transfers through. Comes from 20th to 4th in the A-main. Hell of a run there for Joe Chisholm. Nice comeback. Speaking of drivers there on night number 1 with scale issues, this one kind of stung because I'm a fan. I like this guy a lot. Steve Larson wins his heat, Bert, night number 1 in the late model, right? He really has been pretty limited schedule the last couple of years. This guy's won a lot of races. Wins his heat, gets interviewed on the front straightaway, drives in the pits, literally drives right past the turn to go to the scales, goes right back to his trailer, gets disqualified after getting interviewed for winning the heat race. It's like, oh my God, Steve, what are you doing? Right. And yeah, that one right there was definitely a Scott Bloomquist moment. That was painful to see. Another guy that kind of stuck out, had a pretty good weekend, not fantastic, but Jesse Glenn's a guy that's been pretty darn quiet over the last couple of years. 6th on night 1, finished on the podium on night number 2 with a 3rd. Boy, that's maybe finding some speed in that 7X. What do you guys think about Jesse Glenn's? Is he on the rise?
Well, I hope he's on the rise because he was really fun to watch when he was running well. The end of that one I don't know what season it was, but I mean, he was on a tear. I mean, any race he was in, he was winning. So anytime that he's running well, it's a plus for the local racing scene.
For sure. Night number 2, Dustin Sorensen got her done in the late models. Diemel, another great run. He got 2nd. Rodney Sanders in the mod with a great run with Jake O'Neill. What else stuck out to you boys there from got a couple more things here, but anything else that you'd maybe put up in the top 10? What else stuck out to you guys? Storylines from the Masters.
Yeah, I have a couple more. Well, obviously, me being from Eastern Wisconsin, it was nice to see a fairly decent contingent of Eastern Wisconsin drivers there. I mean, you had both Todd and Gunnar Frank, Justin Ritchie, Ron Berna, obviously Nick Anvelink, Mike Mullen was there. So it was nice to see those drivers there. And Nick is the one who
Joel Bennett too, right?
Yep, Joel Bennett was there also. And Brett Swedberg was there also. And yeah, Nick was the one who beat out Sammy Mars to make it into the feature the second night. And then he started 22nd, and he finished
23rd.
And he got into the top 5, didn't he?
He ended up 6th, 23rd to 6th. He was kind of battling there, but that's a hell of a run right there. That's a good run.
Yeah. And then also Jake Tim running near the front the second night, and he was bouncing that tire off the wall every time in 1 and 2. And eventually the tire gave out and he had to pit. So, that cost him a few points.
For sure. That closed up the gap a little bit. Absolutely. Kraus, anything else that go to you from the Masters? What else would maybe you put on the list?
Well, interesting. I ran into, had a bunch of fans come back from Cedar that made it to Viking because they canceled really early on Saturday. And, a lot of talk about fan count at Cedar. Is it too much racing? Is it too many nights in a row? Saw a buddy of mine at the gas pump Friday night he goes to Cedar every week, and he actually decided to go to Mississippi Thunder the weekend before. So did that Mississippi Thunder race take some people away? It's cost a lot of money to go to these races instead of going to Cedar. So I think something you got to look at for the future is, fans, can you sustain? Right now you can't because fan counts are down everywhere. I've talked to many promoters and it just is. So, you got to, I think one thing is fan count, see what they can do to help with the fans. Did we lose Ryan, Bert?
Oh, he's back now.
Yeah, I told you. Episode 229. It's Hex, just like frickin' Kraus's race car. I blame you for this shit.
Hey, go ahead. You shouldn't have said anything. You absolutely shouldn't have said anything about it.
All of a sudden, I got a message that said, "You are the host now." It's like, what do I do now?
Yeah, if I fall, I'm in Wisconsin. You were talking about third world countries earlier. I'm in Wisconsin, Kraus, so kind of third world country over here. I'm in Vietnam, and cell phone service is optional. But yeah, you're right. The fan count was really bad on the first night. Second night was better. I think Saturday would have been the best night, but the weather obviously took over there. I had another one here. Pat Dorr. When's the last time you saw Pat Dorr start on the pole, backpedal outside the top 10, get lapped at his home track? I mean, we've had him on the not hot list. That thing, he's missing something. That is, I don't know what the story is, what's going on there, but that thing is lacking speed. I don't know if something's broke, bent, who knows. He'll figure it out. It's Pat Dorr. He will figure it out. I promise, because that's what he does. But 13 cars finished. He got 11th. He beat two guys. He got lapped. I don't even remember the last time I saw that happen. He's got too much pride to be okay with that. Let's put it that way. Speaking of a guy that's got a lot of pride, I had multiple people ask, where's Brent Larson? Now I get it. He doesn't typically go to the Masters anymore. I think he was maybe there with his kid. I think he was, because I think they had Matthew's birthday party, or I think it was Matthew's birthday party at the track. Dustin Sorensen, racing World of Outlaw rookie, right? He was there. Why was Brent Larson not, right? A guy that, let's face it, you go back to the mid-90s, this dude could flat out wheel a race car, right? I mean, he won everything in that Resch Rocket, and then he jumps up in the late model, multiple track championships, track championships at Cedar Lake, where that was the mecca of Wissota late models and all that. So, I mean, it's not like he doesn't know how to race, but he's been struggling, right? Turbo jumps on the Hell Tour, gets a little momentum, gets a couple wins, gains some confidence. Do you think it would have been good for Brent Larson to go there, put a restrictor on, and maybe try to build some confidence with a couple runs right on his home turf? Was that a mistake, him not going there, guys?
I don't know if I'd say it was a mistake, but I mean, definitely if you want to build confidence, there's nothing that builds confidence more than running up front. So I guess it's contingent if you're going to run up front, but if he does race and doesn't run up front, then you're not building confidence.
Well, I think he'd run up front at that show. I think he'd be just fine. I mean, Carlos, what do you think? Do you think if Brent Larson shows up, is he a top 5 car both nights? What do you think?
Oh, I definitely think he could be. There's no doubt about it. But they're always making posts. He's not the most funded team out there. We know that. It's probably nice to have a weekend off. You can sit and just watch your kid, because he's traveling all around the country. He's probably trying to make top 10 of World Outlaw points, and he probably will. Probably doesn't want to go wreck a car and have to fix it the next week and go traveling. So there's a lot. I think there's a lot more negatives to him racing there than there are positives. Just because of what he's trying to do, I get that. But I'd love to see him there. I think everybody else would love to see him there too. He's probably going to put some butts in the seats, to tell you the truth. So maybe Cedar Lake should maybe do something about that and try to get them there. But he's got a lot of variables for him not to be racing there and helping his kid. It's probably nice just to sit back and watch your kid race too. You don't get to see him much. He races up here, Brent's out on the road. So there's a lot more variables than just, hey, let's throw a restrictor plate in and just go racing for him.
Yeah, and as a fan, I'm a fan, right? I want to see Brent Larson there, because I'd like to see him doing well. And I just got to say this. I mean, I get it. There's a little story behind why he's number 1, where that 1 came from. Put that little on the car, get back to number 8. Way faster. He was way faster with the number 8 than he is with number 1. So go back to number 8. All right, we got another one here, anonymous. Okay. A 3-stager. It's kind of an interesting one. 3 stagers, 3 stages of donkey awards, he says. He goes, I got to give a donkey award to racetracks that do not update their fans and drivers on days where the weather's crappy, right? You see a lot of tracks, hey, stay tuned. They're posting on social media. They're kind of keeping people informed. There's a handful of tracks out there, right? Not many, but a few that simply do not inform anybody. They're not on social media barely at all. Can't get a hold of them. People are like, what's it doing over there? People got to drive there. Says you got to get a hold. You got to be able to put it out there that, hey, we're racing, we're not racing. Here's what the plans are. Little communication. Double donkey award, though, to the tracks that cancel after everybody gets to the track, and they know looking at the radar that, there ain't no freaking chance we're getting this in, right? You're looking at the weather, and it's like, man, I get it. You know, some tracks are like, we barely had any races so far this year, but man, it's $100 bill. I mean, literally anywhere you drive with a hauler, you drive there to the track and home, bam, $100 gone, throwing it right out the window. If you're racing there for points, you got sponsors in the area, you got to go. So now these drivers are obligated, and they're like, holy balls, right? Like, why? We knew it was going to cancel, right? Why didn't you freaking cancel? Everybody knew it was going to cancel, and I get it. You know, there's a fine line between like, hey, we're going to try our best to get it in, with shit's too expensive now. I mean, back in the day when I was racing, I'd just find the next track because diesel fuel and all that was cheap. It ain't cheap anymore, right? That's why you see racetracks canceling way ahead of time. Carlos, your thoughts on that aspect of things as a racetrack promoter, as a driver? Do they gotta cancel early when the weather's looking bad in 2024?
And in 2024, you do. And I, I did it all day Saturday, Ryan. I had my phone on my car. I actually brought another TV up in the shop, and I had the radar just on the TV, and I was watching the radar. And then I run Facebook. I'm checking Messenger. I'm checking Viking Speedway email. And I don't know if you saw, Ryan, I made my post at 8 a.m. that we're racing. 11:45, I made a post. Yes, we're watching the radar. We understood. And then I don't know if you saw, when we decided to race, I went Facebook Live. Said, here's the track. We haven't had any rain. We're racing. Let's go. We made the decision. Boom. Of course, 5 o'clock, Ryan, what happens? There's nothing on the radar. There's zero. And we got a heavy mist. I mean, a heavy mist. Okay. And the track was wet. And I'm like, oh no. Literally, we're doing the pit meeting, Ryan, and it stopped. And we're like, oh my gosh, we went out there, ran the track in. We started about 15 minutes late. We got it in. But it's a tough call, Ryan, because here's the deal. Drivers are drivers. Us racers are dumb anyway. Because we're dumb, we're just going to load up, throw diesel, and we're going to go race. And if it doesn't, I mean, look at Buzzy. You know what I mean? Went from Montevideo to Ashland. Ashland rained out, and then he was back. Where'd he go on Sunday? He was back. You know what I mean? So as far as the racers goes with the diesel, we're dumb, Bert. We got $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 race cars, and we're worried about $100 diesel bill. So throw the drivers out of it. We're mostly local guys. And I had 10 cars in the parking lot because we had the Rebel Midwest Mod Tournament tour. We already had guys in the parking lot Friday night into Saturday. So I'm sitting here going, God, let's do it. But what kills it, Ryan, is the fans. You can't. That's the reason why we would have canceled, is because no fans would have showed up. And we got lucky. We had an okay night at Viking, but we had that elevated purse, ended up losing a little bit of money. But it was, at the end of the day, when you cancel because of the fans. And the other flip side is concession stand. Bert, we're grilling burgers. We want to open at 5 o'clock. We can't, you know what I mean? You got to make a decision here early enough so there is so much that goes into it other than, well, we're just going to go racing. So it's a super tough division or a decision, Ryan and Bert. But like you said, you have to be like, I emailed the radio stations. I was texting the radio stations. I was calling radio stations. Hey, we're running, trying to do everything I could to make sure I get fans there. So, yeah, it's super frustrating. You get up on Facebook, nobody said anything for 6 hours. What's going on? So you do not want to be in those shoes. I was sitting in a golf car. I left the shop, Ryan, at 2 o'clock, and I was sitting at the racetrack from 2 to 3:30 with some board members and my track guys. What are we going to do? So there is so much that goes into saying yes and saying no. But as a promoter, you have to look at it and look at dollars and cents. Drivers, for the most part, they're going to show up and we're going to race anyway. So it sucks being in those shoes, but we were supposed to get a 1/4 inch of rain at noon and we didn't get a drop, so it's like, and then you cancel and then the sun's out and it's 70 degrees and it's sunny and then everybody's mad at you. So it's a lose-lose, but my advice is you can watch radars, watch what it's doing, be up to date on social media, be telling everybody what's going on, and try to make a logical decision in a short period of time. It's tough to do, but try to evaluate and sit back and say, hey, this is going on. And then, the other thing is, Ryan, I'm sitting there and Ogilvy cancels. all of a sudden all these tracks around you start canceling, and I'm like, oh no, people are going to come here to race. You know what I mean? So it's a nightmare. But like I said, try to make a logical decision and take the facts, take the weather. You know, sometimes having a board and multiple opinions is good during this thing, other than one guy making the decision. But it's a nightmare, and it's a super tough thing to do.
Triple donkey to tracks that when they do cancel, when the cars are already there, that don't give refunds. Unbelievable. Now I get it. If you're a local guy, you race that track every week, keep your wristband, use it next time you come back. But holy balls, right? If you got out of town people coming to the racetrack, fans, drivers, crew guys, whatever, that might not be coming back, you have got to give them their money back. I mean, what the hell are we doing here, right? And there are still tracks in 2024 all over the place that do not give people money back regardless. And that to me is a huge donkey award to those racetracks. So Kraus, you guys give money back, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And we had talked about it. It was either keep your wristband, because there's a lot of locals that are coming back. And we actually have rain checks. We still have the rain check for tickets. So, hey, if you want, we can give you a ticket to come back next week, or we'll give you your money back. Same thing. My gals stay there at the pit window. You have to just do the right thing. If people want to keep their wristband, they don't come back. Now it's in their hands. But you got to do the right thing, and you have to have rain checks, and you have to give their money back.
Absolutely. Bert, they do at Shawano too, right? Out of towner comes in.
I would assume so, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I know at Shawano Speedway, you can use your wristband for the entire rest of the season. Now I do know there's a track in Eastern Wisconsin. I'm not going to say the track because I'm not positive this is their policy, but I think you only have 2 weeks to use the wristband. So some tracks are different in, how long you can use the wristband, but I just want to add on to what Kraus just said. Tracks are in a tough position, when it's, when the radar doesn't look good. I mean, Ryan, you made fun of me several years ago because I left on Saturday of the USA Nationals because it was a 95 to 100% chance of rain. There was no way they were going to race that day, and they raced. So even when there's almost 100% chance of rain, that doesn't mean it's going to rain.
Right. And didn't Pat Dorr go from 16th to 1st that night? I think you missed a good one that night. So, all right, we got one last one here. This one comes from Jim. 10,000 to win Saturday night, Thunder City Speedway for the Midwest Mods. Now they have prelim nights on Thursday and Friday. They split the field. Lineups already posted on my Race Pass. Guys, right now, today, right, there's 2 names, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of good drivers up there, but there's 2 that come to mind. When you think Thunder City Speedway and you think Midwest Mods, or really supers, you think any classes, what 2 names come to mind today in Thunder Bay as being the 2 top drivers up there?
Well, no names came to mind for me because I'm not real familiar with that track. But I did look on my Race Pass and looked at the points, and isn't Simpson leading the points there right now?
Yep, David Simpson would be one. The other one, of course, Cole Chernosky. We talked about them being the modern day Kreiderman Nesbitt duo, right? David Simpson not racing this weekend in Thunder Bay. He's going to come back down to the States. He's going to get 3 full nights of racing in. And I reached out. I'm like, am I missing something here? Like, why would you not race your home track for $10,000 to win? 7,100 American, or right? It's a monopoly money up there. But why would you not, right? And he's like, I got to be honest, hate the format. So, Kraus, night 1 and night 2, the prelims, no pay, 0 pay. Okay. Now it's 10,000 to win, but I want to say it's like $500 or $600 for like 5th or 6th. I mean, it drops freaking fast. And he's like, he goes, I just don't like it. I think they should have spread it out. I'm like, dude, like, you're the favorite to win. Like, like in my mind, I'm thinking like if he's going there, I'm picking David Simpson in our pick'ems. Like he's the guy to beat. I'm like, and he's like, well, I look at 10th, and I'm like, oh, bullshit, right? David Simpson does not look at frickin' what 10th place pays. That dude does not get 10th. It doesn't happen, right? On a bad night, he's gonna get 5th up there. He's frickin' bolted, but I get it, right? To each their own. Now, then I find out something else, Coach. No WISSOTA points. No WISSOTA points up there. Are they going to get their ass in a ringer up in Thunder Bay running a non-sanctioned WISSOTA class special during the WISSOTA season? Remember, there's a track in central Minnesota that announced here a couple weeks ago. They're doing one end of September during invite time. Basically said he don't care. He's going to pay the fine, right? Well, it looks like they're doing the same thing. I talked to Buzzy today, and he said, yeah, I don't think there's national points. He said, kind of little bit surprised by that, and they're kind of flipping a coin here later in the week looking at the weather. Blake's in the lineup. They might not even go. He says he's not 100% sure yet, but he might not go up there. Coach, your thoughts about Thunder City Speedway not having WISSOTA points at this event?
Boy, I don't know. I had no idea until you just brought that up. It's a super interesting, really interesting. My take is they want to make sure this money stays in Canada. They don't want any travelers up there. That's my take on the deal is, we're going to do a special and this money's staying here and we don't want nothing to do with it. Now, I can see with Simpson in the format, because a lot of guys aren't going to unload their car for nothing to win. Bert and Ryan, you're just not these days, with the cost of fuel and everything, and you're going to go run basically for free. I think that's, say what you want about WISSOTA 100, but at least you run them heats and the qualifiers, you're getting something. You know what I mean? You're not racing for free those nights. So, granted, they don't pay nothing, but at least you're getting something out of the deal. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to go race and got nothing but 10 grand to win in your hometown, Ryan. You're trying to tell me you wouldn't be at Hibbing, whether it's WISSOTA points or not? That's how dumb us racers are, Bert. That just goes to show you how dumb us race car drivers are. And Ryan, 20 years ago, Ryan would never said that he's dumb, or I would have never said that. But now we look at it and say, yeah, we're a bunch of dumbasses, Bert. So, yeah, that's an interesting, super interesting there. And who knows if there's going to be ramifications or what from that with, I know the WISSOTA hits tracks pretty hard when you do non-sanctioned stuff, especially during the season. After season's kind of somewhat of a different story a little bit, but during the season, that's super interesting.
Yeah, it's right in the contract, right, with the tracks in WISSOTA that you can't run non-sanctioned stuff. So I don't know, unless something changes during the week. That's an interesting dynamic up there, but unfortunate, right? For all the fan sponsors, David Simpson definitely one of the favorites up there to win. Some of the drivers up there probably pretty happy, like, oh, good, see ya. Like that'll make our lives easier. But yeah, good luck to him wherever he goes. Speaking of that, so we talked about the Central Minnesota track, Granite City. They're actually running a non-sanctioned deal in September against the Red Clay. Guy has a lot of money, 10,000 to win A-mods, right? Kraus, did you see who's running that show? Or at least what the Facebook post said, right? Who's running that show in Granite, that non-sanctioned show against the Red Clay and against the Madtown Showdown? Did you see who's promoting that?
Would it happen to be, was it Mr. USMTS promoting that?
Ryan Staley, which is Todd Staley's kid. Yep. Todd Staley, of course, owns USMTS and USRA, right? So the question coming from Jim here is the writing on the wall? Is he, you remember, he owns a USMTS team. They have a American Racer tire dealership. Could we see Granite going USRA in 2024? And could we see other area tracks, maybe Ogilvie, Princeton, couple of neighboring tracks? Could we see them following suit? Is the writing on the wall there with Ryan Staley coming in and promoting that?
Well, it's definitely. Well, aren't we all WISSOTA, all one, or all for one, or all WISSOTA, or I don't know, whatever some sort of Facebook post said the end of last year during a certain November or whatever it was. So I don't know, Ryan. It's I got a hard enough time keeping track of Viking Speedway and things up to snuff, and let alone what's going down north of St. Cloud. But boy, his recent post, what's been going on. Now all of a sudden you're going unsanctioned, bringing in a USRA, USMTS promoter. He's obviously, something's going down. You know how he is. There's something going down. He ain't doing this and not going to do something. So be super interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I guess that's one to follow right there, because I'll be honest, okay, take that track out of the equation. They're a Sunday track. They are in the area, and it's not because of who owns it or where it is or whatever. It's a Sunday track. Sunday tracks do the worst in the area. Sunday's the worst day to race on. The big player in the area, of course, is Ogilvy. You got Princeton there, same owner of that track, right, on the Wissota board. Could he? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. But boy, I tell you what, if one domino falls and then another, Wissota already basically has nothing south of the Twin Cities, and basically very few things going on in North Dakota. A couple tracks out there, a couple tracks in South Dakota. They better kind of figure out what they're doing here, and they better do it fast, because we don't need to be losing any more tracks than what they already have. All right, guys, let's jump into this section right here. Who's hot, who's not, and our Fast Five, right? The little final updates here, couple tidbits here from us each, brought to you by Daytona One Performance Lubricants. So Buck, the founder of Daytona One, in the Hall of Fame for lubricants. A lot of great products. You can check them out online. You can check them out on Facebook. They have the Gen X late model series kind of over in western Minnesota there. A lot of success there. They can do anything they want to their tires. So all the tire treatments they have to prolong the use of tires is perfectly legal in that class. But they have so much more, oils and all kinds of lubricants. Check their stuff out and give Chad a call at 507-828 3536 and learn more about all the products that Daytona One Performance Lubricants has to offer. All right, Bert, let's start with you. Give us your who's hot. Let's just start there. We'll kind of go quickly. Us three will go who's hot, we'll go who's not, then we'll do our Fast Five here. So who's hot, Bert?
Well, I'll take the low hanging fruit. And I mean, we talked about these already, but obviously Turbo on the national scene, and then Benji Lacrosse locally here.
Yeah, that don't get much hotter than that. Coach Kraus, you got anybody different that's hot right now?
No, you got to go Turbo. Obviously, it's what everybody wants to see too. That's why I want to see him. As much as you want to keep him there, I want to see him on the national scene. Maybe he's going to carry some over, and he ain't afraid. He'd be someone to rough up RTJ and all them wimps too. So it'd be fun to watch. But hot list, I gotta go. I gotta go with the local guy. I gotta go with the 10X of Dusty Bitson. He put a beat down on those boys on Friday night up at I-94, and then super just hammered down second place finish at Viking Speedway on Saturday, and sitting seventh in national points right now. So he basically runs 2 nights a week, but all these rainouts, I-94 and Viking, have been kind of getting some shows in. So be nice to see the local boy Dusty Bitson keep staying hot and see if he can't finish in maybe the top 5 of national points.
Yeah, I got a couple as well. So I mean, obviously Turbo, obviously SpaceX, right? But I got Braden Brower on there. Braden Brower leading the way right now, right? He's traveling all over. He's kind of he's doing whatever he has to do. Their goal right now in the Brower camp is to win a national championship. Their dad's not doing well. He's kind of battling some major health issues right now. And the goal that they set out is to win a national title. And they're going to do whatever the hell it takes to make that happen. Braden Brower leading the way right now, 10 wins. Another guy with 10 wins, Tyler Peterson. Right? He has been extremely hot in that late model, modified, not so much. But that late model right now, 10 wins for Tyler Peterson. He's extremely hot. Mod 4's Robert Holtquist. We give old Dean Larson kind of making all them trips out west, kind of picking them cherries a little bit with 4 or 5 cars. Robert Holtquist followed him out there, guys. 3 wins this weekend for Holtquist. So them are a few guys I have. And then national, I got to go RTJ too. RTJ, when the Lucas Oil races happen, he's on the podium. He's in the conversation every single night. Another first and second this weekend. We had a guy make a bold prediction. We ain't going to mention any names there, Kent, but bold prediction, RTJ, podium both nights. Huh, no shit, eh? Weird. Shocker. Pretty sure that wasn't very bold. We give Bert crap about his bold predictions. That one, I don't know. But he extended his point lead again this weekend in the Lucas Oil. So RTJ just doing what he has to do to put himself in position to be there at the end. So Bert, who's not?
Can I go Kyle Larson?
Pretty good night number 2, but yeah, you can go Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I'll just go with him. He blew his motor while he was leading the race at Knoxville, so I'll go with him because you don't have many opportunities to put him on this list.
Right, 13th to third night too, though, and he's big weekend of sprint car racing. We'll talk about that shortly. Anybody locally on the not hot list, Bert?
I don't know. There hasn't been other than those specials, there hasn't been much racing on this side of the state. So I'm gonna punt on that one this week. Next week I'll have one.
Okay, Coach Gross, not hot.
Well, Bert, you missed an opportunity with Kyle Larson. Probably the favorite to win last night at Iowa. Put her in the fence, got some damage, and was multiple laps down. So
yeah, I wasn't
not hot.
I didn't watch the race. I didn't think he did well, but I didn't want to say something if I was wrong.
Well, it's the first time they ever raced at Iowa Speedway. It was a good race. They were 3 wide, and it was a really good race. It got kind of strung out on that last restart, but that was tire strategy and stuff. But place was absolutely jam-packed. Campers everywhere. One thing, did you listen to Blaney? I know Blaney's mom's from Des Moines, and it said, man, were these fans passionate. So when you get up in this area, you're getting in a race, and there's race fans everywhere, Alabama, North Carolina, I get that, but a little bit different ball game, probably a lot of dirt fans there. So cool to see NASCAR get that race at Iowa Speedway. So we're going not hot, Ryan. Dexton Cook. He wins in Red Cedar, right? 10th at Ashland, 6th at Proctor, 10th at Grand Rapids, 18th at Gondik Law, 12th at DNF at Bemidji on Sunday. And before then, it was like, boy, get out of my way. I'm going to win everything. And then, all of a sudden the tour comes around and it's not doing so well. So I have to put Dexton in this 2 weeks in a row now when the best place finish is 6th. Doesn't happen to Dexton Cook. So he's my local guy, not hot. National guy, Garrett Alberson. Okay, and Ryan, you had him on the hot list there for a while. He won Farmer City. He won Fairbury. He gets second the first night at Lucas Oil. He went to Eldora, and ever since he's gone to Eldora, he has done absolutely nothing. He got like 10th in a B feature at Eldora. Wasn't very good last weekend. So it's crazy how you go from, he was winning competitive, and all of a sudden he's barely making features. So those are my 2 not hot guys.
Yeah, locally, I'm going to go Shane Sabraski, right? There's a guy, lacking wins. He went up to Hibbing. Great to see him up in Hibbing Saturday. Didn't have the late model because he was traveling. He didn't run the late model the night before. Wasn't planning on running the late model that night. I think he got like 7th in the modified. He did win the Superstock feature, but I don't know. That 3-car deal is tough. I'm telling you, 2 cars has got to be tough, right? It's not like he has a huge pit crew, but 3 cars, holy crap. I don't know. I think it might be hurting him. I think he might look at this and maybe has a little conversation with the car owner there. I could see them potentially going, you know what, we're going to put one of these to the side till invite time, because when he runs and he focuses on 2 cars, he's really good. When he focuses on 3, you're just going to miss stuff. There's only so much time in a day, so Sabraski's struggling a bit. Pat Dorr, we talked about him, going to keep him on there. Dave Dulciak, 9th at Fairbury, running better. Car was too tight. We talked about it today. We're going to see if we can maybe figure some stuff out. But he's looking for his first win of the year. And then Hudson O'Neill, when he's running his own car. because I think he won last night at Ultimate in the Rumley car, I believe, but he ran this weekend. He got a 12th and a 17th. He had crept up into the final 4 there, into the top 4 in the points. Now he's fallen back to 6 behind Marlar again. So when Hudson O'Neal's driving his own stuff, they got some work to do with that one.
Do you have Lucas points in front of you?
I do. So right now,
is McCready 4th?
Right now it's RTJ. And he got a 1st and a 2nd this week and extended that lead. Jonathan Davenport is in 2nd. Devin Moran is in 3rd. The Rocket 1, Tim McCready, has slid up into the 4th spot, and he's got 65 points on 5th right now. I think Kraus is dying over there. All right, drink some water there, buddy. Come on now. Don't be tipping over on the show. We're not trying to fabricate entertainment here, okay? That would not be entertaining. But yeah, Rocket 1 back up into the conversation, slid into the 4th spot. Marlar 5th, Hudson O'Neal 6th, Alberson 7th, and Dalton Wilson in 8th. And of course, we talked about the final 4 at the end of the year, the 7 race series. You want to be in that, locked into that 4 to go after it all. So yeah, T-Mac could put him on. I wouldn't know if I'd call it hot,
right?
Getting warmer.
But I was watching the Lucas race, and the announcers made the comment that he had moved up to 4th, and I was surprised by that because, he's had some decent runs, but, nothing that you would think that, would help propel him up into the 4th spot. But of those drivers that are behind him, we've talked about how Marlar has struggled recently. And we all know that Hudson O'Neal struggles a little bit in his own car. And Coach just said Alberson is struggling. So that helps explain part of it.
In the top 8 in points, Bert, this past weekend, Rocket 1, Tim McCready, had the 2nd highest average finish over the 2 nights. RTJ got a 1st and a 2nd, but he had the best average finish. And then the 3rd best was Moran. I mean, he's been pretty solid all year, but T-Mac a 2nd and a 7th this weekend. So I tell you what, I mean, you got the best team in all the dirt late models. You got a guy that's got multiple Lucas Oil late model championships. Kraus, is he going to figure this deal out? Are we going to see T-Mac in the final 4 at the end of the year in Rocket 1?
Well, of course he's going to get in the final 4. I mean, there's no one. I mean, I think he's going to. I mean, he's 535 points out of 1st, but I think he's just about almost 300 behind Moran, is he not? So I mean, he's
350.
Yeah, right now. They're battling for 4th, and all you got to do is get in. That's all you have to do. So that's what their goal is right now. Get consistent, get locked in, and you got a chance to win, just like Huddy did last year. So that's what they're trying to do. And he's getting faster. He's getting more comfortable, and it's gonna way different driving styles there. So it's good. We need, like I said, you have to see the Rocket 1 car up front. You just have to. It's fun to watch, no matter who's in the car.
Wouldn't that be a deal, right? How pissed off would RTJ be if he was ahead of him by like 800 points, and then all of a sudden here comes Rocket 1 and steals the thunder from him for a 2nd straight year? That would be a bit much. All right, guys, our fast 5 here. Any final tidbits, shout outs, any other things? I got some notes here. Bert, we'll go you, we'll go Kraus, we'll go me. Anything else that happened in the racing world this past weekend that you think needs a shout out? Anything that you want to talk about?
Well, this one's just for Coach. I see Kyle Strickler won a 3,000 to win mod race at Beaver Dam on Friday night.
He finished.
Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo.
He's fun to watch, but holy shit, he's hard on stuff.
Yeah, you got to stoop down just to go win. You got to go get. I mean, come on, whoop-de-doo.
Well, yeah, I mean, Strickler's racing IMCA stuff. He's not racing the US, the Masters or stuff like that. So
nice. Anything else there, Bert, that stuck out to you this weekend that you want to touch on?
No, those were the main things.
Kraus?
Yeah, I got a couple shout outs to some guys. Got to thank Kyle Howland for coming over to Viking Speedway on Saturday. Ended up then getting second. We had a DQ there with a rev box deal in the street stocks. So thanks for Kyle come over. I talked to him a little bit after the races and the tech shit. So he's like, I'm gonna come over here, and when the Ogilvy canceled, it's good to see you guys are still running. And then Reese Stenberg, Ryan, the Midwest mod driver, he follows the Rebel Mod Tour. First time ever at Viking Speedway, and he comes home in second, and he's like, man, was this fun. That's the fastest I've ever gone in a race car. And Viking Speedway was had a little character, and it had the old school cushion, but it was fun. And he's like, holy smokes. He said, but it's wide. He goes, you go in the corner wide open, and man, you can at least move around and pass. So thanks for Reese coming over. Didn't realize he's about 7'4". He's a big dude, Ryan. I don't know if you knew that. He's a big guy. So was a nice guy. He was appreciative, said, hey, thanks for a good show. So thank for him. And one more shout out, my next door neighbor in the pit area, Avery Anderson, Ryan, led some laps at Viking Speedway Saturday, and came home with a Balminated right rear tire and still got third. So that was the picture I sent you. He those wonderful Hoosier tires of ours, Ryan, he Balminated tire and end up, you lose to Travis Sauer and Dusty Bitson, and you get your best career finish as a third at Viking Speedway. You're doing something. So they had an engine swap, so they were working all day. So he's got an SSR, a young driver. So it's good to see. Good to see Avery find the good run.
All right, we lost Ryan.
I'm back. I'm back.
He completely jinxed this show, Ryan, when you brought that up.
I did. There's no question. Yeah. So yeah, I tell you what, going to that half mile is something. If you've never been to a half mile, never raced on one, you're used to racing a bull ring, and you go there, it's like you can literally feel the air inside the car. It's pretty wicked. And the tires, I know there's a tech meeting coming up here, and does somebody out there, if anybody listening has an old Dirt Boss, Super Boss, Hard Boss tire, the old style tires that we ran in the early 2000s, if you still have one laying around, I mean, we're not going to race it. We need it. Okay. We want to cut a cross section out because we need to show people something. The amount of rubber between the tread blocks above the nylon, you used to be able to, Bert, they used to be able to take old tires, right, that maybe have 4 or 5 nights and the tread's wearing down. You could re-groove them. That was a thing. And you could go deeper into there and get more nights out of them. If you groove below the tread blocks now, you're going to get a flat because there's no rubber below there anymore, right? So they're making a shittier tire, less expensive, less quality, charging us more, and it's been a problem. So that's something, if you can address anything at the tech meeting, whatever we do for a tire in Wissota, whether it's American Racer or Hoosier, whatever they decide to do, for God's sake, that amount of rubber below the tread block above the nylon where it laminates, go back to a thicker cross section of rubber there so people can actually use these tires longer that are weekend warriors. That would definitely help racing for sure. Anything else there, Kraus, before I have a couple to shout out?
Nope, it's all you.
All right, so Thunder Bay, by the way, cold airbox DQ, guy that won the street stock feature, DQ for a cold airbox. So there's another one of them. Congratulations, tech guys. That's a dumb rule. Rick Simpson getting it done. Chernosky got his third of the year. In Grand Rapids, they had a pretty good car count, 37 supers. The best race up there was that super stock feature. We talked about Terrence Spacek getting it done. I want to give a shout out Jake Knapper. Couple years ago, standout, Western Minnesota in the Superstock division. I believe his modified is a turbine, isn't it? And he went out, got his first career modified A-main win at the KRA Speedway. Great run. One of the best races of the night there was
He's
Blake
actually,
Adams.
sorry, Ryan. It's a JMR.
Oh, he
I
is
didn't
a
know
JMR
that either.
now. Yep, that's
but
right.
He posted that. I thought it was too, but I saw he's in a JMR now.
Okay, my bad on that one. Well, them JMR cars are good. Jay McDonald builds a good hot rod. I mean, he always has. But cool to see Jake Knapper get a win. That kid was winning a bunch of races in the Super. Did not win any mod races in his rookie year. It was just a matter of time. So great to see him find victory lane. Ada, a couple weeks ago, my bad. I had a guy reach out to me. I completely forgot. We like milestones. couple weeks back, Aaron Blacklance got his 100th career feature win. So I want to give it the tip of the cap. Congratulations, Aaron Blacklance. Gondik Law Speedway, they did some pretty cool stuff as well. First of all, Jack Revor, 2 years ago, rookie year in a mod, big season, won races, was super fast. Last year, life happened. They had some things going on, I think school and stuff, and he just struggled. He gave him an ass whooping on Friday. He just stomped them in the modifieds. Joey Jensen, a guy that hasn't raced up there very much in recent years, 9th to 1st in the Midwest mod. But let's just face it. It is what it is. The racing community as a whole is shrinking, right? It's just getting smaller. The amount of passionate fans that showed up at the racetrack in the mid 90s, early 2000s compared to today is significantly less everywhere because of live streaming and there's all kinds of other reasons. But the Gondik Law Speedway lost one of their own. Ray Tollers, guy that I know several friends of ours of the show are very good friends with him. Tragically passed away. I think he fell and an injury resulted to some other complications and 52, I believe, years old. And he had Turn 3 Motorsports, a big group of people that, I mean, it didn't matter what raced, right? It could be it could just frickin' be the B-Mods and Pure Stocks, and he would have been there at the Gondik Law Speedway. He was that race fan that was there every single week. Well, Gondik Law Speedway, got to give them a tip of the cap because they said, you know what, we got to do something here. We gotta do something, make it raise night, and they kicked in some money. Next thing you know, they're on Facebook. A few other people tipped in some money, and they had Turn 3 Motorsports. I think it was 333 extra for first, 333 extra for third in all classes. Every single feature, guys, stopped in Turn 3 where he was, and they would all get there, and the B-Mods had a big field, and they would rev the engine up 3 times. And I talked to the promoter, Joe Staria, and he goes, when the B-Mods did it the first time, he goes, I had chills coming down my spine. So it was a super cool tribute. They did the 4 wide salute, and they dropped third out of the equation. So, thoughts and prayers to the friends, family, everybody that knows Ray Tollers. He's a big part of the Gondik Law Speedway family, but super cool tribute, what they did up there in Superior. And we've seen stuff like that at other tracks, and that just shows how tight the racing family is. We don't always get along. It is what it is. We all know Kraus is a hack and a jackass half the time, but we still love him, right? It is what it is. But the fact is, people band together in this sport, and when things like this happen, it shows how much of a family the racing community really is. So thoughts and prayers to his family. Prince NLRA, Dustin Strand, 4th of the year, getting it done up in Fargo. TPO getting a DNF up there. We talked about the World of Outlaws sprints. Interesting thing. Did you guys know how you qualify for the heat races in the World of Outlaws sprints? Do you know? They had 64 cars on Friday at Knoxville. They do time trials, right? Well, they only run 4 heats. Top 40 in qualifying go to the 4 heat races. That leaves 24 other cars. They split them between 2 non-qualifier races. The top 2 from each get to tag a heat race. The other 20 cars don't even get to run a heat. They didn't run a heat. They go straight to the D main, back of the C. So then they got a D and a C. They didn't get to run a heat race. Kind of an interesting deal. Schatz actually had to go through that. I don't know what happened in qualifying, but he had to come through the non-qualifier race to even tag the back of a heat race. And then he comes out Saturday, gets a second, right? So he rebounded nicely. I just thought it was interesting that not everybody runs a heat race. Kraus, I want your thoughts as a racer on that deal. 64 cars. They're running 2 extra races anyway, right? So you're running 4 heats and 2 non-qualifiers. Why not just run 6 heats? That don't make any sense at all to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that they had a race earlier in the year too, where they had over, I don't know what the limit is, if it's 40 cars or 48 cars or whatever it is, you get over that. The first race of the night was that non-qualifier deal. I'm like, what's going on here? Then these guys go to the back of a heat, and I'm like, so then as a promoter, I'm adding laps, and I'm adding, well, wait a minute here. You're not really saving time. You're probably making guys race more, so you're not saving the drivers any money. So I don't know. I think they're trying to fix something that ain't broke.
Yeah, it was interesting to me, to say the least. Casper, Wyoming, one of the favorites. They got a big show coming up in Sheridan here in a couple weeks. 10,000 win in the B mods. The Liker boys, they just know how to get it done. They each had a pair. I think they each had a win this weekend. Let's go down here. Let's go to Gallatin Speedway. We talked about Bo Nave, hard charger engine underneath the hood in that one. Right now, you look at Buzzy Adams and Blake Adams, guys. Buzzy Adams is leading the way in the WISSOTA Modifieds with wins. He has 9. In the Midwest mods, I'm going to take a look back here, but I'm about positive that Blake Adams is leading the way, and he has 8. So it's possible, right? It's possible. Could father-son double up here and win a pair of natties? We shall see in a couple months. Tri-state late models at Slayton, Justin Zeitner getting it done. Remember about a month ago, he got in a really bad car accident, got a concussion. He did run a mod a time or two in between there. His first night back, welcome back, Justin Zeitner, getting it done in the tri-state late models. River City Speedway, Braden Brower, we talked about his 10th of the year. Big Sky Speedway, Robert Petrov had a dry slump. He got his 7th of the year at Big Sky. We talked about Devil's Lake. Hibbing Raceway, Shane Sobraski making the trip. Kind of cool to see him up there during the regular season. Johnny Broking, his 3rd of the year in the mod. Peterlin, his 2nd of the year in the late model. Sam Blevins, that Blevins family. You want to talk about passionate racing family. You got dad and 2 sons that are all 3 of them are racing in the Midwest mods. Sam and Mikey have both won features this year. That Blevins family, if you're a race fan in northern Minnesota, keep an eye on that Blevins family. Them kids are doing really good, fun to see. Madison, car counts, guys. 7 classes of cars, 52 cars. 7 classes, 52 cars. Rough deal over there in Madison. Miller Central, Nick Perry, first career win in the Midwest mod. Congratulations to him and Miller. Viking, you touched on that, Kraus. Bemidji, we give out for years and years. Bemidji was always kind of the track where like, it's Bemidji, right? It's kind of like hillbilly-ish. Good car count, 90 cars over there on Sunday night, right? Good car count, 18 Midwest mods, 14 supers. The Carlson family with a great night. Dalton Carlson winning the supers from 6th, and then Austin Carlson winning the pure stocks from 7th. So tip of the cap to the Carlson family. Of course, Tim on the WISSOTA board. Great racing family over there. Blake Adams getting it done in the B mod. Buffalo River, Ty Agan getting it done in the street stocks. I think that's his 7th of the year. And let's see what else we got here. Anything else that stuck out? Colton Brower got a few more wins this weekend. Then Browers are on top of things. Ultimate Motorsports Park. Did you guys watch the feature at Ultimate on Dirt Vision? See that Hudson O'Neal winning that in the Rumley ride, battling it out, throwing some sliders back and forth with Dalton Wilson. And I guess that is kind of the bulk of it on the final shoutouts, but I just kind of cool to give some shoutouts. Really cool what they did up in Superior for his family. So that was a pretty cool tribute. So hopefully we don't have any more of them this year, but that's how the racing community is. So guys, let's jump into the weekly Pick'ems segment, brought to you by Brad Parsons Soil and Ag Solutions. And if you're a farmer, Western Minnesota, the Dakotas, you're looking to be more profitable. Well, what's it all about? Getting the right stuff in your spray packages, higher yields, higher profitability. His phone number, 320-219-3542. Why not give Brad a call and learn about the products they have? I mean, I know everybody gets kind of set in their ways, but give him a call, see if he can help you out. Also, our Pick'ems, a little bit on the line, because a winner is going to get to pick a car at the end of the year that Brad Parson kicked into, I kicked into, Worker B, Kent kicked into as well. And we're going to be working on that a little bit more as the season progresses, but we're going to sponsor a car. We're going to give some money back to the racing community. The winner of the Pick'em segment going to pick the driver we give the money to. So this past week, guys, Rain Man Curtis, we're going to call him Rain Man of the Pick'ems. This freaking guy, 24 points on the week. 24. Here, I thought I won, right? I'm like, fuck, I got 16 points. I won. I'd like a win, right? I beat everybody else except for Rain Man. I got 16 along with Man Bun Dan. He got 16 as well. And Worker Bee plus 14. Bert plus 13. Bromance plus 12. Uper plus 11. Are you on? I might have left you off the list, Coach. I'm not sure. Changa and Beefcake plus 8. Dano plus 6. Coach plus 4. Did you forget to turn your picks in, or did you like leave them blank, or like I'm pretty confident I could give a trained monkey with a pen, right? Like literally here, you just draw names out of a hat and they could get 4 points. What are you doing there, guy? Come on.
Well,
Let's get her together.
I guarantee I won the podiums. I had a ton of podiums. It's bad luck. And then here's the flip side, Ryan. I was in third place 2 weeks ago. Literally, I was in third place. And I was catching those guys, and then it was just some bad breaks. But hey, it is what it is. But we can rig these. We can rig them, and I'll get back up there.
He's also picking drivers who don't even show up to race. So we'll get into that a little later.
Well,
that happened.
We will get into that a little bit later, won't we?
I've done that too. So our standings right now, Rain Man Curtis, his new name. He ain't Curtis anymore. He's Pickham's Rain Man is what he is. 177. He is literally 19 points. So him and Changa were literally tied or 1 point apart here. Or Changa actually had the lead a couple weeks ago. 19-point lead now. Changa in second at 158. The 71A here third at 139. Worker Bee at 128. Dano and Bert at 126. Coach at 123. Uper at 120. Beefcake at 118. Bromance at 112, and Man Bun Den breaking 100. He's at 104, kind of battling there for the. He said that he's playing it like golf. Lowest score wins. I don't think that's how it works, but A for effort on that one. So our upcoming events this weekend, we got a few. I'm going to name off the races here. If you want to talk about them a little bit, we can, but just name off who you have. USMTS, 2 races canceled already, but Friday and Saturday, they're racing at the 81 Speedway, Park City, Kansas. We'll go Bert, Coach, me. Bert, who do you have at 81 Speedway for the mods?
Jake Tim and Jim Chisholm.
I got Sanders both nights.
Rocket Rodney Sanders, and I went with Jake Tim's times 2 as well. All right, I guess not as well because Bert does not have him on night 2, but Jake Tim times 2. World of Outlaw late models, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday at Thunder Hill, Friday at Ponderosa, and Saturday at Brownstown. Bert.
Huffman, Pierce.
Hoffman, Pierce. Coach?
Pierce all 3 nights. Did write the checks. It's over with. Barry's got them all wound up. He's winning every night.
Well, we can't freaking do that. We can't be picking the same guy every night. What are we doing here? Okay, all right. I have Chris Smokey Madden at Thunder Hill, Nick Hoffman at Ponderosa, and Bobby Pierce at Brownstown. So I went with the 3 different drivers. It'll probably bite me in the ass, but we'll give it a whirl. All right, World of Outlaw Sprint Cars with a huge week this week at Huset's. If you're in that area, you're going to want to bank it down to Brandon, South Dakota. Wednesday, 20 grand to win. Thursday, 100,000 to win. Friday, 20,000 to win. And Saturday, 250,000 to win for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Bert, what say you?
Gravel, Macedo, gravel.
Carson Macedo, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. Coach?
Hey, we might as well give out a shout out to Cole Macedo. He won that point deal out in actually a decent race last night. So he kind of had a little traveling deal out there he won. So cool for Cole Macedo to get that done. I'm going Wednesday, Hot and Child, Thursday, gravel, Friday, shots, Saturday, gravel.
Okay. I'm going to go Wednesday and Thursday, Young Money, Kyle Larson. Friday, Saturday, both David Gravel. So Larson, Gravel. Lucas Oil Dirt Late Models at Lernerville for the Firecracker 100 Thursday, Friday prelim nights. Split fields. We're not picking those, but we are going to pick Saturday's A main. I think it's 50 large to win that one. Bert,
RTJ.
Coach,
Davenport.
Davenport. I went with RTJ. I really considered going Devin Moran, but I went RTJ as well. Rebel Midwest Mod Tour, Thursday, Norman County Raceway, Ada, Minnesota. Friday, River City Speedway, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Saturday at Madison, Minnesota, and Sunday at the Casino Speedway in Watertown, South Dakota. Bert,
Stork, Rodine.
Coach,
Matt Scow is going to win the first two. Corey Stork's winning in Madison. And Mike Nichols is winning in Casino.
I want Aaron Blacklance at Norman County, Lance Schill at River Cities, Lucas Rodine at Madison, and Mike Nichols at Casino. All right, KME Late Model Series, Gondik Law Speedway this Friday night. The 7 or 8 race series, 7,500 to win. What a great deal that Pat Capella and the Gondik Law Speedway put together for the late models. They might not gain a whole bunch of travelers, but boy, that's a lot of money on the line. If you're anywhere near that area, that is a good series, and they all pay well. I think it's 1,500 to win, and then there's a couple other shows, and then there's a $5,000 to win show as well, and a lot of money on the line for the late models up in Superior, Wisconsin. So Friday night, Bert, who do you got at the Gondik Law Speedway?
Peterlin.
Coach?
Kevin Burdick.
And I went with the Hermantown Hammer, Daryl Nelson. NLRA late models, Friday at the I-94 Speedway, Fergus Falls. Saturday at the Devil's Playground, Devil's Lake, for the Golden Hammer on Saturday. All right, Bert, who do you have?
TPO and Strand.
Same
Coach?
thing. TPO Friday, Strand on Saturday.
Well, I guess we finally got one where we're all the same, because I have TPO and Strand as well, so we're not gaining on each other there. Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour, Friday at P-Town, Princeton, Minnesota. Saturday at the Big O in Ogilvie. Sunday at Granite City. Bert?
Agin, Dykoff, and Agin.
Coach?
Braden Brower Friday. Kyle Howland Saturday. Justin Vogel on Sunday.
I went with Agin, Tourville, Agin. Tourville. Dirt Kings, 141. Diamond 46, $4,600 to win this weekend for the Dirt Kings. Bert?
I'm taking Nick Avlink.
Coach?
Who, Bert? That's like a bunt with your bold prediction is what that is. I don't even know who runs this thing. Is Mike Mullen racing?
Yeah, he'll be there.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be
That's who
there.
I took. I took Mike Mullen.
And I took Anvilink as well. Mountain States Mod Tour. This year they're having 3 weekends of racing, 2 nights at each track. The first 2 nights at the Big Sky Speedway in Billings, Montana for the Wissota Midwest Modifieds, Friday and Saturday. Bert?
Keniston, both nights.
Who?
Keniston.
Okay.
He's
All
on
right.
the point standings.
Okay. Coach?
I took Rod Lorenz both nights.
Okay. I took Tony Liker both nights. I'm going to take Tony Liker both nights. Thunder City Speedway, 10,000 to win, 7,100 American. For the Midwest Modifieds, Saturday night is the finale. Bert, who do you have?
All right. Well, I took Blake Adams. I'm hoping he shows up now after your discussion earlier in the show.
It should be a coin toss. All right, Coach?
He ain't going. There's no Wissota points. He ain't going up there. There's no way. 0 chance. You better just change your pick quick, Bert, because they're not going up there. So,
It's good pay for the mods, though, too. So I don't know. They might. I guess we'll have to wait to see what the weather does. So, I mean, it's
he
possible.
Buzzy did play the weather game on Saturday and went to Ashland. How'd that work out for him? He could have came to Viking and actually raced. and maybe actually
And-
got some Minnesota points, but no, he's got to go to Ashland.
And then they went to Bemidji Sunday.
I'm going Kevin Monteith.
The old legend getting it done. So they got 3 old guys, right? They got Kreiderman got a win, Danny Young got a win, now Kevin Monteith got a win this weekend. But I'm gonna go with a guy that gonna drive from the west over to Thunder Bay. I'm gonna go Jamie Davis. Surprising that none of us 3 took Cole Chernosky. That's kind of surprising. Probably the favorite now that David Simpson ain't there. But I'm taking Jamie Davis. All right, guys. Bold predictions. Our bold predictions. We had a few things come off the board here. Bert, you had a few come off the board. So what we do every week for those listening, in case you haven't heard, we make 3 bold, sometimes not so bold, right? Bert predictions on racing. Keep track of our statistics. So Bert's this week. Dustin Sorensen will have at least 4 wins between the modified and the late model at the Masters. He got 1. So that was a no. You said Jason Fager would have a better average finish than Shannon Babb. Well, Babb only raced 1 night, and that was wrong. So that was a no.
Well,
and you said it.
I have to contest this one because the thing is, the one night that Babb raced, coach didn't even pick him that night.
Of course not. Of course. Yeah, you're right. That's weird. That's how funny how things work. You also said at least on the 2-night show at 141, Clash at the Creek, you said on the lesser of the 2 nights, they would have at least 90 mods on the lesser of the 2 nights. Well, they had 79 and 73. Good car count, not quite 90, so no on that one. Coach, you had a couple come off here as well. JD Superman would have no podiums at Smoky Mountain. He got 2nd on night number 2. So that was a no. 9, here's one that's crazy. This is freaking lapping the field, clean sweep. That's what this is right here. This is a big one right here. 9 different podiums at the 3 Rebel Midwest Mod Tour races. That is crazy. Night number 1, Lucas Rodin, Nate Ranke, Matt Scow. Night number 2, Corey Stork, Reese Steinberg, and Taylor Bitson. Night number 3, Justin Jones, Klein, and Jory Berg. 9 different podium finishers out of 9 potential podium spots. That's a tip of the cap there, Coach Kraus. Good job on that one. All right. I incidentally was the opposite of that. I said that Jason Fager would have a better average finish than Turbo this week at the Hell Tour. Pretty tough to do when Turbo wins all 3. So that is like spinning out like 3 times and get kicked off the racetrack. That's what that is. All right, the Youper. He had 3, and we got a judgment call on 1. So his first one here, he said Cade Nelson would podium all nights and win at least 2 at the Masters. He didn't win any, and one night he didn't podium. That was a no. He said the Hell Tour would average 31 or more late models, with Fairbury being the most. That was correct. They had 49. That's a yes. But then he had one here. He said, at Knoxville, there was 2 nights of World of Outlaw sprint car action. He said a non-Woo driver would win and a non-Woo driver would podium. Well, I took that as the same guy. That's how all of our picks have been all year, would win, and then the other night would be a podium. He gave himself credit. He says, well, Corey Day, he won 1 night, and then there was a podium finish from another guy the other night, so that counts. I'm like, that don't freaking count. It's got to be the same guy, don't you think?
Did he state what was it? I took it as it was different. To be honest with you, I thought he meant different.
Okay.
I thought he did, unless he stated.
He's giving people shit about a bunt. That's a bunt. a non-Woo guy is going to get a podium. Okay.
But he had a parlay with that, correct?
Yeah, I'm fine. We'll give it to him. But every pick that we've done, it's always been, this guy's going to win 1 night, the other night will be a podium. That's kind of how I took it. But he's giving people shit about RTJ going to be on the podium 2 nights. I don't know. At that race with 60 some cars, pretty good odds one of them high limit boys is going to get her done, and they did. So, all right. Peanut Gallery. We had a few come off the board here. So Kent said Dustin Strand would win in Fargo. And we gave him shit about that, but I got to be honest, I didn't pick him. I figured maybe TPO would win up there. That's who I picked, and Strand won, so that was yes. He said 5 different drivers. The Hell Tour would have all different winning drivers.
Well, hold on, Ryan. Let's go back. Let's go back and talk about this. Okay. If you're a bold prediction at an NLRA race to win would probably be like Tucker Peterson.
Anybody versus Tyler Peterson is a bold prediction. I'm just saying.
No,
Tyler
it's not.
Peterson is here, and the rest of them are here.
False. So you're trying to tell me, so Brad Sang has never won. He doesn't like Brad Sang, Strand, Gresseth, Troff-Gruben.
Brad Sang's got to use a walker to get from his hauler to his race car. I mean,
well,
the
but
guy's
still, but you're going to make a bold
Sorry,
prediction. Brad. A bold prediction is going to be like, no, it doesn't count. Throw it out.
Who did you pick in your pick'ems last week? It wasn't done. Well, that's kind of bold then. I mean, if it wasn't bold, everybody would have picked him.
You know,
so I don't know. We didn't pick him. I didn't pick him. You didn't pick him.
Dustin Strand winning an NLR. Dustin Strand winning an NLR race. Come on.
Right. That's not super bold, but yeah, let us know below. All right. Kenny said Ron and Travis Sauer would win 2 of 3 of the Rebel Midwest Mod Series. That did not happen. Kent said Coach Kraus is going to finish the feature, but he's going to a-ho somebody. Well, you didn't punt anybody in the feature, and you didn't finish a feature, so that was wrong. And he also said that RTJ would podium both nights, which that is a bunt. If you want to talk about a bunt, that should be like 0.25 points right there. That, and I don't remember if that was Kent or Kenny. He didn't really have it written down, but one of them two, RTJ podium. Okay, fair enough. All right, so now our standings right now, and we keep track of correct predictions and percentage correct. And the Youper leading the way at 18. Coach, the Peanut Gallery, and Bert all at 12, and I'm sucking at 9. I'm terrible at this deal. I'm at 9. The correct percentage, the Youper is leading there as well, 34%. The Peanut Gallery at 28.6. Coach at 22.2. Bert at 20.7. I'm at 20.5.
Another DNF, Bert.
Yeah.
A-ho with another DNF.
All right. I need to be on the show. That's what I need to do. You guys there? You guys are there. All right. All right. I'm back. I suck at this. I need to make some shit happen. So, guys, we have a couple people that sent them in this week. So we're going to start with Bert, Coach, then I have a few others to throw in, and my own. We'll make 3 laps around the track on predictions. Bert, your first prediction.
All right. RTJ will finish in the top 10 at the fight. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Can you hear me?
It's not even funny anymore. It's not even funny.
All right. I'm going to go back to one that I did earlier this year and try it again. There will be a first time late model feature winner at Channel Speedway this week.
Okay. Coach?
Yeah, first off, since I know, Ryan, me and you are on the same wavelengths, bold predictions brought to you by one of our sponsors, elevate-visual.com video productions. So make sure if you have any video production, any drone work that needs to be done, get a hold of Brandon at elevate-visual.com. You can also find him on Facebook. We're going.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Rebel Midwest Mod Tour. I'm not going to go with 12 different podiums, but I am going to go with we lost Ryan again. Bert. Is he parked underneath like some concrete or a rock or what's he got going on down there? So, Bert, I'm going Rebel Midwest Mod Tour. They got 4 nights, 4 different winners and 4 nights on the Rebel Midwest Mod Tour this week.
4 different. Can you guys hear me? You got me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, 4 different winners in the Midwest Mod. All right, good Jeff. His first one here, the KME feature is going to be won by a driver. All right, he's trying to be funny, so that does not it. All right, his first prediction, Nick Hoffman will have a better average finish than Bobby Pierce on this week's World of Outlaw late model swing. Kenny, so did you say 4 different winners in the Rebel Midwest Mod Tour? You literally sniped Kenny. Sniped him. So we can't give him that one because you beat him to the punch. So that is literally his first prediction. So we're taking that one off. He's only going to have 2 this week. But he said the US MTS guys, the races would be won by different drivers. And that was when it was originally 4, but now it's only 2. So the US MTS races this weekend at 81 will be won by different drivers on each night. That's number 2 for Kenny. All right. For Bromance, Coach will finish at least one of the next 3 features, but will not finish in the top 5. Coach,
He might be right. I don't even know if I'm maybe racing yet this weekend.
well, it'd be one of the next 3 times that you do race. All right. Curtis actually has some here. We got Curtis. Dustin Sorensen will win the World of Outlaw Rookie of the Year and will win at least one World of Outlaw late model feature before the end of the season. Little parlay there. Dustin Sorensen parlay. I'm going to go sprint cars here this weekend. World of Outlaw sprint cars at Huset's. Kyle Larson and David Gravel will each win at least one, and at least it'll be one of those 2 that wins the $250,000 to win A-Main on Saturday. So Larson and Gravel each win 1, and one of those 2 wins the $250,000 to win race. All right, Bert.
I'm going back to Shawano Speedway. They have the second race of their Too Tough to Tame IMCA Stock Car Series. It was supposed to be run 2 weeks ago, but it got rained out, so they moved it to last week. Got rained out, so they're going to try it again this coming week. But the podium, the 3 drivers who will be on the podium, not in this order, but they will be on the podium: Luke Lemons, Trent Nolan, and Kyle Frederick.
Okay. Calling out the podium. All right, Coach.
We're going between Lucas Oil and World of Outlaws this week. I know the Lucas Oils only has the one Saturday, and then the 2 World of Outlaws. No Rockets will podium this weekend between the 2 series.
No Rockets on the podium between the World of Outlaw and Lucas. All right. That kind of cancels out our T-Mac love. All right. Good, Jeff, here. The Youper. The combination of Brad Sweet, Rico, and Brent Marks representing the high limit will have better average finishes this week at Huset's than the combination of David Gravel, Donnie Schatz, and Sheldon Hodenschild. So Sweet, Rico, and Marks, better average finish than Gravel, Schatz, and Sheldon. All right. We got Beefcake here. World of Outlaw late models. Whoever wins the first one will win them all. The World of Outlaw swing is going to get swept by a driver this weekend. That will get swept. All right, Bromance here. Bert is going to win the pick'ems. Bert is going to come from behind and win the pick'ems. You got some work to do there, buddy. Curtis might have to take a week or two off. All right. Speaking of Curtis, got Rain Man here. Carson Ferguson will have more top 5 finishes than T-Mac, counting the rest of the Lucas Oil races, full shows only, not the split fields. Carson Ferguson more top 5s than T-Mac, only counting the rest of the Lucas Oil dirt late model races. So that's interesting. Tony Liker is going to win at least 50% of the Mountain States Mod Tour Midwest Mod A mains and will be crowned the champion of the 2024 Mountain States Mod Tour. Tony Liker. Sorry, Troy. Gonna have to get her done. We got you. Pick your brother here. We'll see if you can outdo him. All right. Bert. Your third and final.
I'll go the Street Stock Tour and the Rebel Midwest Modified Tour. Between those two tours, there will be a 2-time winner in each of those tours this week.
Okay. Coach?
Yeah, I just switched my last one because I didn't. No Ricky Weiss this weekend at the Firecracker, Ryan. Does that surprise you?
At the Firecracker?
Yeah.
Not really. He doesn't. Has he ran any Lucas races?
Oh, no, but he's a past champion. He won that race a few years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Big money. Yeah, I don't know. He was actually pretty decent in Eldora. Kind of a rough weekend last weekend, but yeah, I just thought he's going to Tazewell on Friday. I thought he was going, so I got to switch my pick because I had him in the top 5 at Firecracker, but he's not going. I'm going to try my luck again with the podiums. We're going to the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour. We're going 9 different podiums this weekend in the 3 races. So again, Princeton, Ryan, that's a complete crapshoot. Okay. Ogilvy, you got the locals, they're pretty tough there. And then Granite, you're going to have some good competition. So we're going to go 9 different podiums in the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour this weekend.
That is bold. All right. We got the Youper here. Rain Man Curtis will not have the most points in our pick'ems this week. Curtis will not have the most points in our pick'ems this week. All right. We got Bromance here. Coach Kraus will be back in his affordable before the end of the season. Coach Kraus will be back in his affordable before the end of the season.
Cross it off, it ain't happening. He crossed it off, it ain't happening. It's junk. So it's we found some major issues with it, so it ain't happening. So he can cross it right on off the list.
Nice. Well, I guess you never know. You might end up wrecking one, and then you get back in somebody's affordable. So he'll be back in an affordable. It didn't say your affordable. Coach Kraus back in an affordable by the end of the year. So we'll leave it on there till the end of the year. All right. Rain Man here. Rocket Rodney Sanders, your defending USMTS national champion, will lead the USMTS points at some point between now and the end of the season. Might not win it, but he will take over the point lead at some point during the season. I'm going to go KME late models up in Gondik Speedway, Superior, Wisconsin. The Hermantown Hammer Daryl Nelson will beat both Pat Dorr and Kevin Burdick. Daryl Nelson will beat Dorr and Burdick Friday night at the Gondik Speedway. All right, boys, a couple other little things. Nick Minsky, know that name. He's a late model guy, kind of ran a street stock for a while out in North Dakota. Thoughts and prayers, keep him in your prayers. He got in a really, really, really bad motorcycle accident here over the weekend, and sounds like really touch and go with him. We got a family and stuff. I don't know him, but I had somebody reach out and say to mention that on the show. Give him your thoughts and prayers. Carlos, remember a couple weeks ago or last week you sent me that picture or that video of that car on fire, that sprint car on fire in Oregon. Angelique Bell, 410 sprint car. 5 days. So she was in the hospital for an extended period of time. 5 days later, 5 days removed, literally really having trouble breathing, like them burns got to her. Interesting, right? Because we saw a fire, I think, at Knoxville where they were like on top of it, and bam, it was out. They were there right away. They were not on top of it out there. That thing took forever. It was a scary, scary scene. Fire is no joke. So, just somebody said, hey, just make sure your fire stuff is in order at racetracks. And then another guy reached out here and said, hey, XR is coming up to Proctor, Superior, and Ogilvie, and I want to go to Proctor, and I want to bring my bus, and I want to park it in the back straightaway. So if you're a fan at the Proctor Speedway and you have one of those reserve parking spots along the back straightaway, and you're not going to be at the XR event, get a hold of me, right, on Facebook or 218-969-1380. Text me. I got a guy that'll take your spot. So that's one of our listeners to the show said, I want a spot. I want to bring my bus there. And so I figured I'd do that. So that's actually Uper's uncle that was asking to do that. So what's the plans for this weekend? Coach, they're working on, you going to be ready to go this weekend, you think? Or what's the plans? What's your plans? Bert, what's your plans? What's going on this weekend?
Yeah, hopefully we can get it ready to go. We got to I got to get the block fixed a little bit up, and other than that, it's got the rest of the parts, but main thing is getting the block fixed. Hopefully we can get back out there because we got a makeup feature too at Viking. So that's basically my plans as of right now, is probably do a little golfing, I think, this week. I know you were going to come by, but we're in a flash flood warning for 2 days or something over here. So get a little golfing in, get a little racing in, the usual.
Bert, how about you?
I'm planning right now. The plan is to go to 141 Speedway for the Dirt King show.
Okay.
Hopefully, the long range forecast.
You're going. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. They'd probably just cancel now, right? Because you already jinxed Seymour twice this year. So.
Well, I had a college roommate who said whatever they predict early in the week, it's going to be opposite by the time it arrives. So that's what I'm going with.
Well, that's the same with me, because every time I plan on going to Sycamore, it rains. So I don't know. I guess I'd like to get down there, right? I want to go help the 83 rides find Victory Lane, get some speed out of them things, and see what we can do. But we'll see what happens over the weekend. So as always, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Give us your feedback, message us if you got any questions, concerns, anything that you want brought up on the show. If you have some predictions that you want to do, let us know. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. I'm Ryan. That's Coach. That's Bert. Thanks for tuning in to the One to Go Show.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please leave a review and subscribe. It is Puka. And Goat Sports has another show out there by podcast, Facebook, and YouTube. It's the Tea with Miss McGill show. Covers hockey, high school hockey in northern Minnesota. So if you're into hockey, you can find us on podcast under Tea with Miss McGill. You can find us on YouTube or Facebook, Goat Sports Media LLC. Yours truly and Coach Reed Larson. We break it down every week. We also do some interesting interviews. We'd love to have you. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll catch you next week.